Hey guys, it's Tim Sharmack, and welcome back to another episode of the Platform Marketing Show. Today I'm joined by Jaelin and Chris Moldenhauer from Polson, Montana. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, thanks,
Thank
Tim.
you.
So this is kind of crazy that we're doing the podcast episode today because just totally impromptu, out of the blue, 2 days ago, I had a phone call with Brandon Smith, who runs a big insurance agency in Montana. I mean, they're huge in the Mountain West. They're not just in Montana. They have clients all over, but I know that he's in Missoula. And Brandon actually spoke at our platform mastermind a couple of years ago. And I've since become really good friends with him. We met at a completely separate conference that had nothing to do with real estate in Phoenix. And we all have some mutual friends in common, like Grant Botma and Nick Ayers. I don't know if you guys know those guys, but they're all friends, family friends. And so I got connected with Brandon via some mutual friends. And anyways, Brandon and I have since become really good friends.
Wow.
And so he called me out of the blue a couple days ago because he saw that our mortgage company recently got licensed in Montana. And he was like, hey, man, I'd love to work together. We got to connect on that. He's like, by the way, are you working with Jaelin and Chris Moldenhauer? I was like, yeah, dude, actually, I'm interviewing them on the podcast in 2 days. And he's like, no way. And I can't even remember how he knows you guys. What's the connection there?
My brother married his sister.
Okay, yeah.
He'd gone to his dad's church. That's how we originally met him.
Okay, yeah. There was some family connection there. And he was like, yeah, I saw some ad that had Jaelin on it. And I was like, I know her. And I'm just like, that's such a small world because he's in Missoula, obviously not too far from you, but I've never hung out with you guys in person. It's just a weird triangulation of how many people know people. So, well, cool. If you're listening to this, you're just joining the podcast. You're probably like, what the heck are you guys talking about? Jaelin and Chris have really blown up their business in the last year. Would you guys mind sharing where your business was at and where it's at now?
Yeah, so last year we'd gone down a little bit in our sales, and so we sold 3.2 million. Our best year was 6.7. My goal since the beginning has always been 10 million. Never been able to quite reach that. So I've been praying for something to make that change and to really get us up to where we needed to be. And now it's honestly blown up since we started with platform. We've already closed 1.6 million for this year. We have almost 7 million potential listings coming up. So we're definitely on track to reach our goal number, I think.
So your goal is 10 million. Last year you did 3 point something million. And this year, just so people know when we're recording this podcast episode, it's early April. It's the first week of April here. So you haven't even really gotten into the spring, summer selling season in Montana, because where you guys are, you're basically still in winter in Montana.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in Minnesota, so I completely know how that goes. The market doesn't really pick up till honestly closer to Labor Day, or not Labor Day, but Memorial Day.
Yeah, normally the winter months is completely dead, and we're just starting to see buyers come out. And honestly, this week, my phone hasn't stopped ringing. From buyers, sellers. This is literally the busiest I've ever been at this time of the year.
That's awesome. So again, we're early April. You guys are still in winter where you are in Montana, and you already have 8.5 million either closed, under contract, or listings coming up. And last year you closed 3 million total. So you're basically at the point where it would be accurate to say your business has essentially tripled year over year, and it's only April. So it's already effectively tripled, and it's only April.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even include our buyers that we have. We have a handful of buyers, quite a few million. We just picked one up. Actually, Chris was calling our leads.
Let's go. Good job, Chris.
I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call the leads. Yeah. And so just this last week, he picked up a buyer that had unlimited budget. He was looking at a $3.2 million lake house. And yeah.
You're in a Polson, is it Flathead Lake or no?
Yep.
It is.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So it's the biggest freshwater lake west of the Mississippi. So it's pretty big. It's very clean. So get a lot of people moving here because of that.
And I'm glad you brought that up because you're in a unique market. And so often when we have agents that are interested in the platform marketing strategy, the question they'll ask is, oh, my market's kind of unique, or will it work for me here? And I always just sarcastically say, well, are you working with humans? Because as long as we have that in common, the marketing's going to work, because you can be in a second home market or a vacation market or some sort of weird market where you think your market's not normal.
Yeah.
And ultimately humans are humans, and they're going to choose which agent they want to work with based off of the vibe they get from you. And that doesn't change whether or not you're in a more traditional market like Missoula, that it's more single family owner occupied homes, or if it's like Polson, where you're probably going to have a little bit more vacation homes, second homes than Missoula does. But humans are humans. So the same type of marketing that's going to work in one market is going to work in another. So it's safe to say you're going to blast through your goal of 10 million this year, which is incredible because Jaelin, you said you've been licensed as an agent for coming up on 10 years now.
Yeah. I think it'll be 9 years in October.
Okay.
I just went over 4 years.
Okay. So it's a pretty good sample size when we say that, hey, 10 million would be an amazing goal. And if you hit that, you know that the marketing is working. It's not one of those situations where you were right at 9 million when you signed up for platform and then you went over 10 and then we're trying to take credit for your business probably would have been there anyways, right?
Yeah.
It truly has really grown your business in the last year.
Yeah, I've been keeping track of where we're getting our leads from, and the next 6 listings, 5 of them are from platform.
That's incredible. So of your 6 listings, 5 of them you can track, hey, that came from the platform marketing campaigns.
Yeah, and then we have 2 on market right now that are also from platform.
All right, that's amazing. So for someone who's listening to this, let's just say that there's a realtor listening to this podcast right now or watching on YouTube and they're not familiar with platform. They have no idea what we keep talking about when we say this platform strategy. In your own words, Chris or Jaelin, how would you describe what the platform strategy is and what maybe makes it different than what most realtors are doing with their marketing?
I think it's just a lot less salesy, which I appreciate. People are starting to get to know us in the community. I feel like they are wanting to use us because they feel like they know us just from all of our ads. We walk around town basically and they're like, oh my gosh, we see you on Facebook. And people are always talking about us. And I think we had some success at the very beginning. Our first listing tour that we launched, we got a seller within 10 days of our very first listing tour. And then it tapered off for a little bit and we didn't get any. But I feel like just all the months and months that we've been doing it, we just keep showing up and being in people's faces and on their screens, and they can't help wanting to use us. For instance, I went to a meeting with a bunch of real estate agents, and a realtor that I didn't really know that well came up to me and she's like, I watch all of your stuff all the time. Honestly, you make me want to use you as my agent. And I just thought that was so awesome because other agents are always commenting how much they love our Facebook posts and stuff like that. So I just feel like they're not salesy. People actually enjoy reading them and love the content. They love seeing us just be silly in ourselves and getting to know us a little bit. So now that we're almost to a year, we can really see that.
And you made a really good point when you said that this strategy doesn't feel salesy. Would you mind elaborating on that? Or maybe what are some of the specifics of a few examples of ads that you guys have done that don't feel salesy, but that have been successful and worked for you to get traction in the community? Are there specific ads you could point to?
Let's see, I feel like a lot of our food ads, when people have to choose what restaurant is the best, those ones have worked really well. I guess this one was not quite salesy, but Chris did the stop sign ad where we said that we had buyers.
That was probably one we've gotten the most traction from, was when we said we had these 5 different clients that are looking for this different things, and we've had a lot of traction from that. People calling me with different listings and stuff. So.
Yeah, people have been definitely reaching out to us, a lot of sellers. Hey, I have this property. So that's just been cool about that. A lot of people will talk about our listing tours. We had one lady that was interested in the house. They're like, we need to sell our house first. We're going to get it on the market. And I said, well, don't you want to go see the house? Don't you want to go walk through it? She's like, no, I've already seen everything I need to see. I watched your listing tour. I've learned everything I need to know. So I just feel like people come to our page now just to learn about our market, watch our videos. People are just, I feel like, commenting all the time in town. Random people at gas stations, the grocery stores, everywhere we go, people mention pretty much all of our ads. I don't know that we have any in particular besides a stop sign ad where we are seeking sellers or houses for our buyers. But I think all of the ones that we've done have been very successful, to be honest with you.
I would say I've got a lot of compliments as far as it makes us seem more human with all of our funny videos and stuff like that. It makes us way more approachable, because I guess some people have felt like real estate agents to kind of almost have that the professional, I'm too good for you sort of outlook.
Yeah.
We humble ourselves and we're goofy and we're no different than anybody else out there. So
it just makes you really approachable.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Yep.
And Chris, you mentioned that you've been licensed now for, do you say 3 years, 4 years?
4.
Okay, 4 years. Jaelin's been in the game a little bit longer. She's nearing 10 years, but you mentioned that you're a volunteer firefighter. You previously worked in law enforcement. Even occasionally you're substitute teaching in the local schools there. So you're actually incredibly active in the community. But yes. I think this is a really good illustration of being involved in the community often isn't enough.
Absolutely.
To build a successful business as a realtor, you have to actually market and promote the fact that you're active in your community, because the only thing that's changed in the last year isn't that you guys suddenly got really involved in the community, because let's give you credit, you were already very involved in the community. I mean, you know, you're obviously involved in all the, you know, various organizations and friendship circles and social sphere that you have, but like you were literally a volunteer firefighter and you worked in law enforcement and you're substitute teaching in the schools. I mean, you basically could not get more involved in the community than you already were. And Absolutely. Yet the business wasn't necessarily growing, because the missing ingredient there is that you actually have to promote the fact, like you have to market the fact that you're involved in the community. And that's what really changed in the last year, is you guys started like building this brand and you're popping up in people's news feeds on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And now like your business has tripled in just the last year, even though all the other things you were doing have stayed constant, right? Like what's changed is just the amount of exposure that you're now getting on social media. So I think that's a really good just kind of teaching point for those listening, that yes, you have to be involved in your community. That's necessary, but not sufficient. Like you also have to market the fact that you're involved in your community.
Yes.
Yeah, and we just did the teacher video, and we know it wasn't at the beginning of the year, but we were like, hey, I mean, we live in a small town and people are going to love that. And we had already been getting our kids coming home from school saying, oh my gosh, this teacher said that they watched your video, and all the teachers at school were already talking about us to our kids. And before we did that video. And so I just think it's cool, because it's like none of those teachers or people would know that we were even real estate agents, but they would, oh, boom, like now they see us all the time, and now they're talking to our kids about our videos. And
so you mentioned this teacher video, Jaelin. Again, I bet someone's listening who has no idea what you're talking about. Would you mind sharing what you say when you say the teacher video that's part of the platform strategy, and kind of why this video makes like strategic sense for a realtor to film this video, even though you're not a teacher, right? Like how does that help your business, and what is this teacher video that you're talking about?
So we have 4 schools here, 2 elementaries and the middle school and high school. So we got photos of a few teachers from each of the schools. And then you guys gave us a really cool script that we were able to read over top of the video. And basically it was telling the teachers just how much we appreciate them, and, you know, all the credit that they do for our kids that they, you know, don't always get thanks for. So it was really cool just to be able to honor them and do that. And I just feel like, I mean, once again, people were sharing the video, and it was blowing up around Facebook. And I just think with, you know, just with the teachers too, it's, you know, they're going to tell their friends and family. You know, those teachers all appreciated it. They all loved the video. And I think that's the thing. You just get it out in the community, do community-minded things, and everyone just enjoys it. I think, you know, with us, we only have about 6,000 people in our town. So everyone knows about 5 real estate agents.
Right.
So you're always trying to be the one that they pick. And I think now we're actually winning the listings from that. They have their 5, and we're at the top of their 5 now, where
because everyone knows you.
All, you know, they're all great, blah, 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 blah. But now it's like, no, we want to use them because we know that their marketing is going to give us the most exposure. And then, like I said, they think that, we're more human and aren't going to be, that salesy, slimy real estate agent that some people assume we are.
All right. While you were saying that, I just pulled up on my phone. I went to your page. So, by the way, if someone's listening to this and want to check it out on Facebook, the name of their page is Jaelin and Chris Moldenhauer Mission Bay Real Estate. And I pulled up that video, and because I was curious how many views it has, and your teacher tribute video is nearing 50,000 video views. So you said there's 6,000 people in your town.
Yeah, in the city, yeah.
Like most towns, you can usually subtract about half the population is under age 18. So like they don't really count towards that because they're not on Facebook watching your videos. So there's like effectively 3,000 or so adults in the area, and your video has 50,000 video views, which means just basic math tells me that even if there's a little bit of spillover from people in neighboring towns seeing the video, whatever, like the average adult in your community has seen this video 5 to 10 times.
Yeah.
Like that's not my opinion. That's just math. Right. So like, that's incredible. And when she says teacher video, again, what Jaelin's talking about is it's this essentially a tribute video to local teachers, just thanking them for all the hard work they put into, being a teacher. They don't often get thanked. I mean, we all know that teachers don't get paid a lot relative to pro athletes or whatever. So it's just kind of like a thank you tribute video for all the local teachers. And you spliced in footage to this video of local teachers thanking them. And, we put some music behind it and a script of you guys like narrating. You're basically the narrators of the video, thanking local teachers. What makes this work kind of ties back into what you said earlier, Jaelin, that this platform strategy seems to be working so well because it's not salesy. Like this teacher tribute video has nothing to do with real estate. There's not even an indirect tie-in. It's not like at the end there's some awkward call to action to contact you if you're thinking of moving to a better school district or something. You know what I mean? Like it literally has nothing to do with buying or selling homes or real estate. There's no call to action. It's just a genuine tribute video to local teachers. And you guys just happen to be the narrators of the video, right? So, but if people see this video and they see the other content that you're putting out that's congruent with this video, they realize like, wow, like if they see enough of your content, right? Like at a certain point, whether it takes a month or two or whether it takes 6 months, at a certain point, people are like, you know what? Like Chris and Jaelin, they seem really cool. I like how committed they are to promoting the community. Like I like how involved they are in the community. If I'm going to work with a real estate agent, I want to work with someone who really loves the community that they sell in, and they just happen to be a real estate agent. You know what I mean? Like you are absolutely creating that brand in your area with videos like that teacher tribute video that have nothing to do with real estate. And so it's not surprising to me that your business has tripled and is probably going to frankly quadruple this year or more based on how many deals you have in the pipeline, because you're putting out content like that. I mean, if you're an agent, even in a bigger city, getting 50,000 video views on a video like that is phenomenal. But I mean, especially when you're in a small town, that means like everyone has seen it. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yep. Like I said, I mean, I took my daughter to the doctor a few weeks ago, and the nurse comes in and she immediately just starts talking real estate to me. And I'm like, I have never met you, but you obviously know me from Facebook. Obviously, I didn't say that, but I just, where they know you from, because it's like, I've never seen you before, but they'll just come up to you and just start talking to you like you've been friends forever, which is so awesome. So I love that. And then we've done some business spotlights in the community. It was so cool. I walked into a store where a lady had just taken over the store. She had just bought the store, and I had a Lotus in my hand, and it was for her. And she turns around and she goes, "Oh my gosh, that drink looks so good. Where did you get it?" And I said, "Well, surprise, this drink is actually for you. I brought this for you." And she was so excited. She sat there and talked to us for a long time. And I mean, I think within 10 minutes of us leaving the store, she had already posted about us and that we had stopped in and thanking us for that. So that was really cool. I mean, she had posted on her business page before we even got the opportunity to post on our business page about it. So
that's awesome. And how much in a given month, do you guys know what you're spending on the actual ads? Like what's your ads budget every month?
I feel like it's actually not super high. On my Facebook, sometimes I get a bill for 900. So it kind of depends. But I know that for some of them, we were bringing our ad spend a little bit lower just because we were getting 50,000 views, and it was like, holy cow. So,
So you would say you're probably spending about $1,000 a month or less
yeah,
most months on ads.
yeah, yep.
So yeah, I think that's really interesting that all of that growth. Then it's not like, hey, we're growing a ton because we're spending $5,000 a month on this marketing. It's like, no, this has been fueled by about $1,000 or less most months in the actual Facebook ads.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's just phenomenal, and it shows that it's not even necessarily always the ads budget. It's how creative is the content that you're promoting with that ads budget, because that kind of gives it a multiplier effect if you're actually putting content out into the world that people want to that they actually want to engage with.
Mm-hmm.
What is the mix of buyers and sellers that you guys are working with this year? Like, what's the ratio of how many sellers you have versus buyers, and has that changed from year to year, or is it kind of the same as what it's historically been?
I would say we probably historically had a few more buyers than sellers, but this year we definitely have more sellers. We've gotten a lot of listings of people that we've never met before, that we'd have never came across if it wasn't for a platform. I've tried Zillow, I've tried Deluxer. I think I was with Zillow for an entire year and only closed one listing with them.
Okay, that was actually going to be my next question. Is like, have you tried any other marketing programs, and how have they worked, or are you doing anything right now with other marketing strategies, and how is it working?
Yeah, like I said, we did Zillow a couple years ago for an entire year. We closed one lead on that. I swore I'd never do that again. And then this last year, we hired Deluxer, and they were supposed to be sending us, kind of leads, and we were going to kind of call them and stuff like that. But every time I called, the leads were just not really there. And so I just been, that's pretty much all we've done. I've prayed, like I said, I've prayed and prayed. I was like, there has got to be something out there. I know if there's a marketing program out there, that is what I need. And I knew that it needed to be our face out there, with people, getting to know us and wanting to buy
Yep.
from us, from our brand. So yeah, when I came across Adam Hertz, who's in the Missoula market, I started coming across his Facebook things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, sorry, my dog. He is like putting some really hilarious content out there, and I was just loving his Facebook page. I'm like, what is he doing? And then I noticed that he had came and spoke at one of your guys' masterminds, and he had posted his board that he,
Oh yeah, the art of his
so I was
presentation.
like,
Yep.
what is this? So I started digging a little bit because I'm like, that's what I want, right? And found you guys and realized that he was using platform, and talked to him a little bit about it. And I was like, this is it. This is literally what I've been praying for. This is the marketing that I know we need, because Zillow doesn't work. The Deluxer doesn't work. Like, you have to have your face out there and being like in everyone's face, literally.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
the first month I was a little nervous. We got our email, and it had, our pictures that you guys wanted us to send there, basically our, monthly ads that we were going to do. And I remember feeling overwhelmed. I was like, oh my gosh, my face is going to be on Facebook like 7 times this month. I am so stressed out. Are people going to, be so annoyed of us and be like,
Yeah. Yep.
people again? So that first like month or two, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, is this like too much? And now I literally can't wait to do our next ad. Now I'm like, all right, Chris, let's go do our next ad, because
Yeah.
just the feedback that we've gotten from it, especially kind of like the little sillier ads, we've gotten so much feedback on that. People just, love watching us pretty much do dumb things, silly things.
Well, it's just like putting the social back into social media,
Mm-hmm.
where like post the kind of stuff as an actual ad, or a paid
Yeah.
ad. Post the kind of stuff that you might post on your personal profile that doesn't feel really salesy. It's not always necessarily about real estate. It's you guys just having fun
Yeah.
somewhere, and then like run that as an ad.
Yeah.
So when it pops up in someone's newsfeed, they don't even realize that they're technically being advertised to, because it's just not salesy. It's not about business. It's you guys just living your life, and it's popping up in someone's newsfeed. Technically, technically as a retargeting ad, but it helps them get to know you, right? And I think when you said you got leads, whether it's Deluxe or Zillow, I mean, there's 100 other companies that out there that more or less do the same thing, right? The intent of that lead and the seriousness of that lead is like categorically different than a lead that comes in with inbound marketing, like from the platform strategy. Because if a lead reaches out to you guys because they saw some of your platform marketing content, whether it's a photo, video, they saw a listing video too, or whatever, when they reach out to you, what makes it so, again, categorically different from a Zillow lead is that they're reaching out to you because they're actually interested in you. They're not interested in a specific listing, and you're just like the necessary evil of, oh, I have to contact a realtor technically to go look at this listing. They're actually wanting to work with you specifically, and they're calling so they can talk to you, because the marketing sold them on you, not a specific house, right? Where with Zillow, like if you think about it, the way a Zillow lead is generated, and almost any other company that sells leads too, this is how they do it. So I don't mean to pick on Zillow specifically, because pretty much every other company out there does things the same way. The way they get a lead is by promoting listings, and then in one way or another they gate it with some sort of landing page or form you have to fill out to get more information about that listing, or to schedule a showing of the listing, and then at that point that's how they generate the lead, right? But if you think about what's going on psychologically in that moment that lead is generated, they don't care about you. They don't even know who you are. They just want to look at that specific house, right? They just view you as a door opener because they want to look at the house, right? So that's really not positioning you well as the agent, because hey, you're just the agent that they sold this lead to. What the person was really interested in was that house. Platform is an entirely different approach, where we're actually having all the marketing be about you and your personality and your hobbies and your interests and what makes you active in the community. So when people inquire, they actually specifically want to work with you. The example I always give is that if a Zillow lead comes in on a Sunday afternoon, and it's a Masters week when we're recording this, so let's say you're at home watching the Masters on a Sunday afternoon, and someone comes in and wants to go look at a house on that Sunday. If you got that lead from Zillow, you basically have to drop everything you're doing, answer the phone, and go show them a house. Because if you don't, they'll route that lead to someone else, and someone else will get that client. Because again, the Zillow lead does not care who you are. They just want to go look at the house. If you get a platform lead that comes from seeing a sequence of your platform ads, and eventually, let's say they message you on Facebook, or they text you, or they call you on a Sunday, that's the difference. Between being able to say, hey, I'm so sorry, I'm with my family on the Sunday afternoon, but I'd love to meet you. Can we connect Monday morning first thing? You want to connect at 9 a.m. for coffee? And that's the difference between, in that moment, that person saying, yes, totally, I would love to meet you Monday morning, let's do that, versus saying, oh no, I'm going to work with another realtor because I want to go see this house today, because they actually want to work with you specifically. That's an entirely different way of doing marketing. And Jaelin, you kind of hinted that, it's scarier because you got to create a lot more content, and your face, and you're going to be in videos and photos all over social media. But like, isn't just that a better way of doing business?
It feels so much better because it's like people are like calling us and contacting us. It's like we're not having to pick up the phone. I mean, we are calling our leads, but it's like I am just not.
But you're not cold calling, right? Like you're only calling the people who first inquired with you, and you're really calling them back. That's how you think about it.
Yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, we've already realized that we've missed out on a couple buyers because we didn't call our leads. We called them and they said, oh, sorry, we've already bought with someone else. And it was like, so that gave us a little bit of motivation where it's like, okay, we do need to call our leads because they do actually want to use us. And this isn't just a Deluxe lead or a Zillow lead where they're just, plugging in their information. It's like people that actually want to use us. So I love it. And like I said, the agent that I had talked to, after watching all of our videos, she says, makes me want to use you guys as my agent. And it just cracks me up that another real estate agent in our town,
Yep.
like catches herself thinking that watching our videos. I'm like, that's just crazy.
And what's interesting is that, like, you're putting all this content out there into the world. You're filming listing video tours. You're highlighting local small businesses with photos and videos. Someone could follow your Facebook page for a couple months and kind of just take notes, and they could probably realize, like, even if they don't know all the ins and outs behind the scenes of how we set up the retargeting and how the strategy works, they could piece together maybe like the shell of what you're doing, and they could totally copy you. They could be like, okay, I see Jaelin and Chris filming listing videos, I'm just going to start doing that. Or I see Jaelin and Chris go out and highlighting local small businesses, I'm just going to start doing that. And yet people don't, because there's a certain amount of like courage, I think, that's required to do this consistently. And most people will try it once, and if it doesn't absolutely go viral the very first thing they do, then they just quit and they never try it again.
And we've noticed that when we first started doing our listing tours, of course, you guys give us some great intros. And, one of our my first one was me jumping over the house. And that's when we got our first seller within 10 days. And then Chris jumped into a creek and, fully clothed and all that. And so we did notice that we did have an uptick of some of the local agents trying to do listing videos like that and be a little bit more silly in their videos. But same thing, they were getting maybe, 5 likes on their things, not really getting any shares or much for views. And it's like, yeah, your video was cute, but if you look at ours, I think I just checked, and one of our videos is at 80,000. One of our listings is at 80,000 views right now.
That's crazy. Yeah. Too, it's really valuable. I'm sure you guys have probably already experienced this. It's really valuable to go on a listing appointment. And if the homeowner, whether they explicitly ask this or they're kind of just like hinting at it, but they never actually say it out loud, of what makes you better or what makes you different from other realtors, right? Like, some people will actually straight up ask that question. Others are just hinting at it the entire conversation. It's so powerful if you just pull out your phone or pull out your laptop, whatever, and be like, well, I'll show you a couple videos that other realtors have done in the community, and notice they have 40 views and half of those are probably their mom, right? Look at our videos that are getting 40,000 video views or 50,000 video views. Like, we really understand social media marketing, and just look at how much more exposure we're getting our listings. Like, that sells you right there. You basically don't have to say anything else in the listing appointment. It's like a mic drop moment where the homeowner, in that conversation is like, okay, yep, I'm going to work with you. Because like, what else do you even need to say at that point? If it's like, hey, here's my last listing, it got 80,000 video views with the video I filmed.
Yeah.
Enough said.
And I feel like I just used that actually 2 days ago. I had a listing appointment. Another agent in my office that just retired this year had wanted to list with her. And she said, I'm retired, but I have this other people in the office that have, Facebook marketing that I think you'll like. And so immediately she got on our Facebook. She checked everything out, and she was like, yep, that's what I want to use. So I met up with her. I barely even had to explain our, marketing. She understood all of it and was like, yep, I've already been on your page. I've already seen everything I need to see. And I already know that you guys are going to market us,
that's awesome.
The views that we need. Also, another one, we have another listing coming up. It's like $1.8 million. And he had 3 agents that, he's all good friends with. And one of them he's been friends with for like 25 years. We're like, we figured that he was going to use that guy. And now he's like, I need your guys' marketing. He's like, I think we're going to maybe co-list it with that guy because my property is unique and I want your marketing. So I feel like,
wow.
people that like, they trust an agent, but they still want to bring us alongside as co-listers with those agents because they want our marketing. So.
And it's obviously only a matter of time before the whole community just starts straight up listing with you rather than co-listing. Because I've always thought it's funny when you see co-listings, it's kind of like one of the 2 listing agents is insulted.
Yeah.
Because that's all that means, frankly.
Yeah.
It's it's kind of like, and I'm probably gonna get in trouble for saying this, but I'm gonna say it anyways. It's kind of like when you see adult couples that have a shared Facebook account, and it's like, okay, which one of them cheated, right? Like, it's just awkward when you see that. And you know that one of them is probably just annoyed that they have a shared Facebook account. And when you see a co-listing, I'm like, it's the same thing. Because clearly, whoever is selling that house probably had a friend or whatever, or a trusted agent they worked with in the past, and they wanted to throw them a bone, but they actually secretly want to work with this other agent. And they thought, oh, this will be a cute compromise. I'll co-list it, So that's amazing. I mean, but again, like when you're getting that many views on your listing videos, it's not surprising that people would want to work with you, because they'd probably feel stupid not working with you when your marketing just clearly works like that.
Yeah, because all the same agents here, they do the exact same thing. They put it on the MLS, Zillow and Realtor.com. All of them, take it from the MLS, and that's about it. Maybe a couple of them will put a little newspaper, ad, which, I mean, who really reads a newspaper around here? Not very many people. So they're not really getting exposure. So it's like nobody else is doing what we're doing. Nobody is even, sponsoring Facebook ads. So we're definitely unique in that sense, where there's no comparable,
Yeah. And the reason too, I'm sure someone's listening to this and it's like, hey, why is everything so Facebook centric, right? Like, why do you keep talking about Facebook? Because frankly, if you're younger, I'm 34 years old now, so I'm officially old and uncool. I'm not young anymore. I'm fully aware that there are cooler social media channels and apps out there other than Facebook. Like Facebook is, embarrassing for most young people to admit that they use. It's like, ew, gross. My parents use Facebook, because they're more likely to use Instagram, Snap, X, et cetera. But that's the exact reason we advertise on Facebook. Is the reason the platform strategy really revolves around Facebook is that the dominant user base of Facebook is people age 40 plus in the United States. And it's like, guess who is more likely demographically and statistically to own $1 million house and have lots of home equity or have the money to buy $1 million house, right? It's people over age 40. So like as a realtor, you want to be investing your marketing dollars to reach people that are in that demographic. And Facebook is the absolute perfect way to reach people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and also a lot of people in their 30s, because there's obviously a ton of people that use Facebook that are in their 30s.
Yeah.
Not really a whole lot in their 20s that use it. They use Instagram, and we run retargeting ads on Instagram, and we have your content on YouTube as well. But like I would say, hey, like you don't have an unlimited marketing budget. So I mean, in a literal sense, every dollar you spend targeting someone that's in their 20s is a dollar you didn't spend targeting someone in their 40s. Right? So it's like it actually just makes sense for most realtors to go all in on a platform like Facebook, because that's where the money is. That's where people with money, they're using Facebook. So I just wanted to say that out loud, because we get that question a lot of like, hey, you talk about Facebook ads so much, but aren't you doing TikTok, or aren't you doing, and then they list off all these other apps that are frankly cooler, right? People in college are not using Facebook. They're on TikTok, Snap, Insta, but Facebook is where rich people are. So that's where we want to be marketing.
And we've never had any buyers or sellers in that lower age range either. So like you said, you are actually targeting the people that are going to buy from you and not wasting your money, I feel like.
Yeah. There's this old bank robber, a Willie Sutton. I use this example a lot when I speak at conferences, and he got caught finally. And they asked him, like, why do you rob banks? Like, what was the decision-making process in your life that led you to start robbing banks? And he was just like confused by the question. He was like, well, duh, like that's where the money is. And I have that same mentality towards, that's why we market on Facebook, because that's where the money is. That's where all the people with money are, is they're hanging out on Facebook. So even if you are not like a regular daily active user of Facebook, it still makes sense for you to be investing your marketing dollars there, because that's where the wealthier people in your community probably are using Facebook. They're not necessarily on TikTok. It's also why I think we're probably going to see a renaissance in the next year or two with direct mail, because mail is a great way to reach people in harder to reach demographics or areas that maybe it's like, hey, how do I target this person online? It's like, well, you could spend thousands of dollars trying to find the right combination of ad targeting to reach certain neighborhoods or really exclusive subdivisions. Or you could just send a really targeted direct mail campaign and that they're going to get it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's been interesting because we've actually had, which we have one for sale right now, they don't even have Facebook, so they hadn't seen our marketing, but they had 3 different friends continually tell them, that's who you need to list with. That's who you need to list with.
Okay.
They listed with someone else for a full year and never sold. And so they were looking for a new agent, and they're like, we just keep having people come up to us and telling us that we need to use you guys as our agents. So, and they're well-known people in the community. I mean, I bet they know over 5 real estate agents that they could have easily chose. And, but because of all their friends had seen, all of our Facebook stuff, that's how we got the listing. So.
Yeah, so they themselves didn't even use Facebook, but so many people were telling them, hey, you've got to work with Jaelin and Chris. Their social media marketing is awesome. That they're like, okay, I guess I will. That's amazing, right? Like that's when your marketing is really, really dialed in, when other people are effectively doing your sales for you.
Yeah.
So is there an ad that maybe you've seen another platform agent do across the country that you're like, hey, I can't wait to do this ad, or here's the next ad that we want to do and we're really excited about it?
Let's see. Trinity that's not an ad. It's a listing tour, but it's the checking the boxes listing tour is one that she just sent me that.
Oh, yep.
About.
Yep.
As far as ads, I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's so many. I always send them to Trinity. I'm like, I want to do this ad next. I want to do this ad next. So I feel like we do pretty good about working with Trinity, who is our account manager, and seeing other people's ads, and then we're like, hey, we want to do that one like right away. So I feel like we get those ones done quite often. So we don't really have too many on our list. I'm sure we'll come across quite a few more here, soon, but we try and check them off as soon as we love the ad. We're like, sign us up. And we're more of like the kind of silly ads. We like to make people laugh. And those are the ones that people always comment to us, At first we're like, are people going to think we're, just not professional maybe, because we're doing these silly ads? I kind of had that fear at first, but like we said earlier, it makes us feel like we're actual like human beings and that we're people, and not just this real estate agent that's, all hooty tooty, I guess. So.
Yeah, exactly. On social media too, I think that's so important because people don't want to log into social media and see someone who's just constantly wearing a suit and thinks they're really, really important and kind of just like snooty, like you just feel like an elitist. And not all realtors do this, to be fair, but I think a lot of realtors like have this exaggerated sense of self-importance. Like, hey, I need to always be wearing my Sunday best wherever I go, and I'm going to wear a suit everywhere, and all my ads need to be super professional. And any video I'm in, I'm going to hire a really fancy video producer to make all my videos Hollywood quality. And it's like, well, that's one approach, I guess, but it also guarantees that all of your ads look like ads. And with social media marketing, like I will, shout this from the rooftops until I die, the best ads don't look like ads. And so if your ads are really slickly produced and have this high production value, and you're spending a lot of money with like a film producer to make your listing videos and whatnot, it's like, that's great. And it maybe, scratches your ego and makes you feel important, but it guarantees that when that video pops up in someone's newsfeed, they know it's an ad. Right. And so they're a lot less likely to keep scrolling because people don't want to watch ads. So if your social media posts, whether they're a photo or a video, frankly, if they just feel a little bit more organic and real, and it's like, it's maybe not as polished, not as professional. It's not unprofessional, but it's just not as polished and professional as some of these other realtors. It actually performs so much better because people are much more likely to click on it and engage with it and watch the video because their brain doesn't even register. Like their brain doesn't even realize they're technically seeing an ad.
Yeah. So for instance, our very first listing tour we did with you guys, we had hired a professional videographer, and, they did our little intro with us, and then they went around and, and it looks good. I think we had like 9 likes on it, maybe less than 1,000 views, not super great. And then we hired you guys 2 months later, and that was the first tour video that I did, listing tour video, and it was me jumping over the house. And I mean, instantly we were getting like so many likes and comments and shares and, 60,000 or 60 views, or 60,000 views. And so it was crazy. It was like, wow, months ago, we had posted this one where we hired a guy, videographer, professional to do this, and we were getting literally no traction on it. And then we showed up and we did one of your intro tours, and then we just did it ourselves. And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
I mean, the other one is like, we literally got nothing on. And this one, it was like everyone was watching it. Oh my gosh, how'd you do that? All the real estate agents, oh, we loved you jumping over the house. I mean, we get comments all the time from our local real estate agents, just always commenting honestly about our posts. They love them. So
do you remember what listing that, like, what the address of the home was? Do you remember that you did the jumping over
Eagle Crest Drive.
Eagle Crest. Okay, so if someone wants to search on Facebook, they'll probably find this video from Jaelin and Chris. Search, Jaelin and Chris Moldenhauer, Eagle Crest Drive, and you'll probably be able to find that video. Basically, it's this technique we've had a lot of the platform agents do, where you have to film it in a couple clips, but it's leveraging some special effects that our ads team does behind the scenes, where you jump as high as you can in a kind of specific way. We give you instructions, and then you also film the house like in a, and then the way that we edit it together, we can kind of create this optical illusion that it looks like you literally jumped over the house. And it's kind of hard to explain if you haven't seen an example, but it looks really real. When you see a video, it's like, oh my gosh, it looks like Jaelin literally, like, it's like this Marvel Studios special effect where you jumped over a house, like you're a superhero. It actually looks cool. And the point is, it grabs people's attention. Like in the first 3 seconds of the video, if you can grab someone's attention, then you've basically earned the right for them to maybe give you another 10 or 15 seconds where they watch the rest of your listing video. And I think you said it perfectly. You probably spent a bunch of money hiring a professional videographer to make this gorgeous looking, expensive professional video tour, and it got less than 1,000 views. And you did this other thing that feels a little bit less professional, but it grabs people's attention because you did something creative in the first couple seconds of the video, and that video got 60,000 views. It's like, well, what would you rather have as a real estate agent trying to build a brand? Would you rather your videos get 60,000 views or less than 1,000? It's like, well, obviously the more creative the videos, the more your business is going to grow. Because I'll probably end our conversation here by just reminding everyone that you guys, your social media is getting a ton of engagement, tons of likes, tons of comments, tons of video views. But we all know that the purpose of marketing is not just to get engagement. It's to get clients, right? And getting engagement on your social media is just kind of a proxy metric for growing your business. But if your business isn't growing at the end of the day, then all this creative, fun marketing stuff doesn't really matter. So that's why I want to remind everyone, hey, like, yeah, they did this creative marketing, but look at how it's showing up in the numbers. Your business, I would say, is on track to quadruple this year over last year. Potentially even is the next after quadruple is that quintuple. I don't even know what's after that. Yeah, right. I mean, like, that's the trajectory that your business is on right now. That's not wishful thinking. That's currently the rate that you're at. And we haven't even gotten to the busy time of year. And interest rates, frankly, suck right now. We had the worst week for mortgage rates this last week, frankly, in the 10 years I've been in this business. They went up the most they've gone up in, a 48-hour period just here as we're recording this episode, and your business is still booming. And so it'll be really cool to see where you guys are at by the end of the year. But the point I want to make is that your business is growing, right? You're not just getting a bunch of likes on Facebook and celebrating that people are following your page. It's like, no, it's actually translating into GCI.
Yeah, we've had the other agents tell us just how slow they've been this year, and their phone just isn't ringing. And I'm like, my phone won't stop ringing, honestly. I mean, we are way busier than I've ever been. Almost, I'm overwhelmed, which is a good thing. It's awesome.
That's great. That's great. Is there any last advice that you would want to share with anyone listening to this, whether they're already in the platform and maybe, I don't know, maybe they've been in the platform for 6 months and they're just not seeing the results they thought they would see, or they're hearing other people with all these case studies and they're not seeing success yet. Or a realtor who's listening to this that has no idea what platform is, but now they're intrigued. Like, what would you say to any realtors listening to this?
I would say that I'm never going to give up my market for platform because I've seen just, what it can do for me. And for the ones that already are with platform, I would tell them to keep going, call those leads, even though you don't want to. I mean, like you said, we just picked up a $3.2 million, buyer just off of our leads. So the leads are actually good leads. Just keep doing it, getting out in the community, doing like the fun listing tours, don't worry about, what you're going to look like or anything like that, just do that crazy thing because that's, what people want. And I would honestly, I've been trying to tell all the agents that aren't in my market, I've been trying to get them to join platform. I'm like, you have no idea what this can do for your business. So I've been trying to get all sorts of agents to join just because I feel like it's something that's helped us and I want to share and help other people also have that success. So I would say if you haven't tried it, then you should try it. If you're in the middle of it and you aren't seeing success, keep going because people are going to start recognizing you and, you're going to take off. So.
Well, Jaelin and Chris, thank you for joining us on the show. Will I see you at the mastermind later this year?
We're hoping so. Yeah. We're hoping to make it this year. Last year we didn't make it because we already had a trip booked that exact week. So this year we're really trying to get there. So
cool. I might have the date wrong. I think it's December 4th and 5th this year. Yeah. It's a Thursday, Friday, and it'll be in Florida this year again. So
okay.
Which I've never been to Florida, so I'm excited about.
Well, it's in Naples, which I'm biased, but I think Naples is the best city in Florida. So usually that time of year, it's like 75 degrees. And I mean, like, it's just gorgeous outside. So usually what we do is we mastermind together during the day with all the platform agents that are there. And there'll be probably 250, 300 agents there. And then at night we go watch the sunset on the beach because there's a boardwalk that takes us right from the hotel, like straight to the beach. They have a private beach area. And it's just so much fun. So if you guys have never been to a platform mastermind, you'll definitely have to join us this year because it's really cool meeting.
I had followed up just on our Facebook page with all the other agents that use platform, and I definitely felt like we missed out last year, even though we already had a trip booked. But it seemed like having fun. Great to connect with, all the other agents that are using platform and just meet everyone. So we definitely want to try and make it this year. So
yeah, I mean, it's just really cool when you can like physically get in a room and hang out with people that are using the same marketing strategy that you're using. Because like Zoom calls are cool, but like it's fun hanging out in person and building those relationships. So hope to see you guys there. But again, thank you for your time. I know it sounds like you're really busy. You've basically quadrupled your business in the last year. And so I appreciate your time because I'm sure you probably have people to call and business to do. So
yeah, we have 2 listings today, actually. So
okay, awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. Like I knew you were doing well and a Trinity's actually been bugging me the last couple months. Like, you've got to get Jaelin and Chris on the show because they're just blowing up. And I was like, okay, cool. I did not realize how much you guys have blown up your business. I knew you were doing well. I didn't realize you were doing this well. So
yeah,
congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm really happy for you. It's always really cool when someone grows their business like that. Cause like, we don't even know where your business is going to end up this year. Like, we'll probably have to have you on the show again, maybe at the end of the year or early next year and just see, hey, where did Jaelin and Chris actually end up?
I know. I'm really excited to figure out where we're going to end up at the end of the year too. Cause like I said, I mean, this time of the year, it is normally dead, nothing going on. And we have so much going on. And yeah, summer hasn't even hit. So I'm really excited to see what comes out of it. So thanks for having us.
Cool. Well, guys, thanks for your time, and for everyone watching and listening. We'll see you on the next episode of the Platform Marketing Show.